So this story is not just your average late-night Walmart tale. It's more of a descent into what felt like an alternate, terrifying reality where every turn and shadow hid potential danger. I used to think of Walmart as just a convenient place to grab whatever I needed at any hour. But this one trip, it changed everything for me. It was a Friday night, or technically, early Saturday morning. I was aiming to dodge the weekend rush, thinking the store on the outskirts of town would be dead. It usually was. A ghost town draped in fluorescent lights. Perfect for a quick in-and-out shopping run. Or so I thought. I breezed through the initial aisles, list in hand, confident and unbothered, casually picking up groceries and, let's be honest, an unhealthy amount of snacks. The store's emptiness added to the ease of the trip, with my only company being the occasional employee restocking shelves. That was until I reached the frozen section. There, amidst the hum of freezers, was a man who immediately threw off my whole vibe. Picture this: disheveled hair, clothes that looked like they hadn't seen a washer in weeks, and an intense, almost feverish look in his eyes. He was loudly arguing with himself, hands flailing as if conducting an orchestra of chaos. It was unsettling, sure, but I brushed it off as just another weird Walmart encounter. Big mistake. As I continued my shopping, a prickling sensation crept up my spine. You know, that eerie feeling of being watched. I tried to shake it off, attributing it to my imagination running wild. But a quick glance over my shoulder confirmed my worst fears. The man was following me, aisle after aisle, a silent predator shadowing his prey. I picked up the pace, my heart thudding in my chest, trying to lose him in the labyrinth of shelves. It was futile. He was always there, just a few steps behind. His presence a constant pressure at the back of my mind. The checkout line felt like a sanctuary in sight, but it quickly turned into a cage when I realized he was right behind me. The air felt thick, charged with a palpable tension as I placed my items on the conveyor belt, his breath hot on my neck. There was a moment, just a heartbeat, where I considered abandoning everything and running. But pride, or maybe fear of drawing attention, kept me rooted. I rushed out of the store, the night air feeling like a cold slap to my face. The parking lot was dimly lit, shadows dancing between the sparse streetlights. And then, the sound of footsteps, rapid and determined, shattered the silence. He was coming, faster now, a hunter closing in on the kill. I've never known true panic until that moment. Fumbling with my keys, hands trembling uncontrollably, I managed to unlock my car and dive inside. But as I slammed the door shut, he was there, his face pressed against the window, his eyes wild and manic. He grabbed the door handle, pulling with a strength that seemed impossible, his fingernails scratching against the window like nails on a chalkboard. In a desperate bid for escape, I started the car, the engine roaring to life under my shaking hands. But he wouldn't let go. As I drove away, he clung to the side of the car, his face a mask of twisted rage. The world outside became a blur as I focused on shaking him off, the car swerving wildly. Finally, he lost his grip, tumbling into the darkness as I sped away, not daring to look back. Back home, I was a wreck, the night replaying in endless loops in my mind. I thought about calling the police, but what would I say? That a man at Walmart followed me and held onto my car? It sounded crazy, even to me. But then, a few days later, the news broke. A man had been arrested not far from that Walmart, a man matching the description of my stalker. The charges were horrifying. Abduction, false imprisonment. They found women in his basement, women who had gone missing. Their families left wondering and waiting. The reality of my escape hit me then. It wasn't just a close call. It was a narrow escape from a nightmare. This story, my story, is a cautionary tale.
Late one night, just before a big holiday sale was about to hit our local Walmart, I found myself navigating the crowded aisles, hunting for a PlayStation 5 console that was rumored to be finally in stock. This was during the pandemic. These were extremely hard to come by. The store was buzzing, a hive of shoppers drawn by the chance of snagging early deals. It felt like an ordinary outing, one of those pre-holiday rituals that blend into the fabric of the season. Little did I know, this trip would turn into an ordeal that still has me paranoid about shopping. The gaming console I was after had been aggressively advertised, and to my delight, I spotted the last one tucked behind a mishmash of other electronics on a cluttered shelf. Just as I reached out to claim the PlayStation, a shadow loomed over me. Turning around, I was confronted by a woman whose intense gaze and erratic demeanor instantly set off alarms in my head. She didn't seem right. Something was off. She demanded the console, her voice tinged with desperation, claiming it was meant for her son's birthday gift. Her sudden approach and the fervor in her eyes unnerved me. I attempted to explain that I had found it first, hoping to defuse the situation. However, my words seemed to ignite a fire within her. She became increasingly agitated, yelling, causing attention to draw towards us, her pleas turning into accusations and then threats. The confrontation escalated quickly, drawing the attention of nearby shoppers and employees who watched the drama unfold with a mix of curiosity and concern. Some even pulled their phones out. Feeling trapped and anxious, I clutched the console box tighter and made a beeline for the checkout, her shouts echoing behind me. The run to the register felt like a gauntlet, each step fraught with the fear that she might escalate her pursuit into physical confrontation. She was so mad that I wouldn't give her the console, thinking the story would make me hand it over. Once outside, I rushed to my car, throwing glances over my shoulder, half expecting to see her charging towards me. The drive home was tense. Every shadow and every light in my rearview mirror had me feeling maybe she had followed me. The relief of arriving home safely was huge, but the night's ordeal had left me rattled. I decided to unwind in my backyard with a drink, hoping the cool night air would ease my nerves. That's when the motion sensor lights flickered on, a startling reminder of my heightened state of anxiety. Chalking it up to a passing animal, I tried to focus on just relaxing, but a lingering unease prompted me to move indoors. No sooner had I settled on the living room sofa to set up the console than a loud knock at the door jolted me upright. My heart raced as I peeked through the window, only to find the parking space in front of my house occupied by a car with bright lights facing the door, and I didn't recognize the car. An icy dread gripped me as I connected the dots. Could the woman from Walmart have followed me home? There was no way. Fearing for my safety, I retreated upstairs to wake my mother. Our home, usually a quiet neighborhood, felt vulnerable in that moment as they pounded on the door even louder. My mother's concern quickly turned to alarm as she too noticed the unknown car. We debated calling the police but hesitated, hoping it might just be a misunderstanding. We just stayed in her room. That hope was shattered when we heard the unmistakable sound of glass breaking from the living room. The reality of our situation crashed down on us with that noise. We were not alone, as I frantically searched for anything to use to protect us. A woman's voice kept yelling to come out. She had a special surprise. We hid in the room as we could hear her coming closer. The minutes stretched out like hours, filled with the sound of our own racing hearts and the intruder moving through our house. They were throwing stuff all around the house, more glass breaking, and the sound of our TV being smashed. Police arrived swiftly, their sirens hopefully scaring them. They apprehended the intruder. I walked down the stairs after the police said it was safe, and the very woman from Walmart now lurking inside our home. It It was a terrifying confirmation of our worst fears. She was arrested, raving and spitting, a stark embodiment of the danger that had followed me from the brightly lit aisles of Walmart to the sanctuary of my home.
Hello, Theory Hubz. My name is Alex, and I've been working at a Walmart located on the outskirts of a small, quiet town in Georgia. Being 22 and juggling part-time college courses meant my availability leaned towards the unconventional hours, which is why my manager often assigned me to the graveyard shift. This particular Walmart, bordered by dense woods and far from the bustling city life, operates 24/7. Despite this, after midnight, the store transforms into a near ghost town, with only a handful of employees scattered throughout its vast expanse. This tale unfolds during one of those shifts, a night that etched itself into my memory with chilling clarity. The shift in question was a routine overnight from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. My assignment for the majority of the night was in the electronics section, a segment of the store I preferred due to its relative tranquility and the opportunity it afforded me to lose myself in music while I worked. The night started as any other, with the last of the evening shoppers making their purchases and slowly trickling out of the store. Among these customers was a man who approached me around midnight, inquiring about a specific model of headphones that we rarely kept in stock. After informing him of their unavailability, he merely nodded and disappeared among the aisles. There was something unsettling in his gaze, a piercing quality that felt almost invasive, but I brushed it off as a figment of my tired mind and continued with my duties. As the witching hour approached and the store grew quieter, I moved on to restock the seasonal section, preparing for an upcoming sale. It was here, amidst the artificial glow of holiday decorations, that I felt an unnerving sensation of being watched. Turning slightly, I caught a glimpse of the same man from earlier, his eyes boring into me from behind a row of Halloween masks. He stood motionless, no cart in hand, no products being perused, just an unwavering stare that sent a shiver down my spine. Initially, I tried to rationalize his presence, telling myself he might have simply been a night owl or someone with an eccentric shopping schedule. However, seeing him a third time, lurking silently near the sporting goods, eradicated any semblance of rational thought. Fear took its place, a visceral, cold dread that this person was not here by coincidence, but was instead following me. Seeking refuge and a moment to collect my thoughts, I retreated to the employee break room. The fluorescent lights flickered as I entered, casting long shadows that did little to comfort me. I sat, attempting to calm my racing heart, when the door creaked ominously open. There he was, his silhouette framed in the doorway, stepping into the room and shutting the door with a quiet click that echoed ominously in the small space. His approach was slow, claiming his intention was never to frighten me. He spun a tale of being a secret shopper, tasked with evaluating employees during the least suspecting hours. While part of me wanted to believe this explanation, the majority of my instincts screamed otherwise. When pressed for identification or any proof of his supposed role, his eyes flickered with something dark and evasive. In a heartbeat, his demeanor shifted from apologetic to aggressive, and he lunged towards me. Adrenaline surged, propelling me to action. I sidestepped him and dashed out of the break room, my voice tearing through the silence of the store as I called for help. My manager and a few night shift co-workers arrived within moments, their presence bringing an immediate change in the man's behavior. He reverted to his tale of being a secret shopper, but his story crumbled under scrutiny. The arrival of the police revealed the truth. The man had no affiliation with Walmart, nor was he a secret shopper. He was arrested and had a warrant out for his arrest. Later we learned it was for attempted kidnapping and harassment, but the incident left a lasting impact on me.